All right, good afternoon to this public hearing this Monday, June 16th, 5 o'clock. The hearing topic is PUD 000391 2025 Proposed Plan Development Varsity 3. An application for a plan development was submitted by Silkworth 2111 Packard LLC, Mr. John Silkworth, on February 17, 2025. If approved, approximately 17 acres near Summey and Hawthorne Streets will be developed as a 528-bed mixed-use multifamily residential development adjacent to the existing Varsity Club phases. The proposed development will be considered the third phase of the development, included in the proposal for its land for a new public park to be dedicated to the city to fulfill the requirement for mixed uses. And then, of course, you have links on our calendar of events if you need that. Let me remind everybody about public hearings. By the way, I hope everybody had a great Father's Day. I just jumped right in today, so I apologize. Yesterday was a very relaxing day for hopefully the majority of our fathers. A public hearing is understood to be a forum for people interested in the subject matter to present information to City Council for its consideration as it deliberates an issue. It's not a forum for debate or argument between members of the council and opponents or proponents or each other. Each speaker shall be limited to 5 minutes unless the City Council authorizes one extension of 3 minutes. The presiding officer may terminate a presentation that is covering the same information as presented by a previous speaker. Such speakers shall be encouraged to simply state their agreement with a previous speaker and bring new information to the subject. And also, as a reminder, we have ADA devices by Jeremiah up there. So I think I've covered all the logistics. We'll start it off with Nathan. Are you starting us off, or Jacob? Or no?
I can do it.
Yep.
Actually, this evening, there's not really much to kick us off. We thought we would just hand this over to development. You guys have seen the plans before you. We are talking about student housing development off of Summey Street, and John is going to dive into the details of that, give you the development highlights, and tell you how the plan will operate.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate you all having us in here. I know hearings like this, you have to come in early, so we appreciate you taking time out of your day. I'm here, John Silkworth, my cousin Jeff, my partner on the project. We're just going to very briefly run through it. We know you have the plans. We know you have, the backstory. It's come out of Planning Commission with a unanimous recommendation for approval. We've worked closely with staff, different department heads, solicited as much feedback as we can. Everybody's been very helpful. Everybody, I think, working on it, you can tell, cares about the city of Clemson. They want to turn over a good product for your evaluation. At no point did anybody try to tip it one way or the other. We're very appreciative of all the responsiveness we've gotten from the city. The Planning Commission that you've appointed did a great job with it, came up with a lot of recommendations for us that we think we implemented most of them. And it was easier to implement them when we get positive feedback from staff and Planning Commission of, hey, we'd like you to do a few things here and there, here's why. Everything had a great rationale or explanation behind it that made our decision easier to incorporate it and not get into a deep back and forth. So real briefly, 152 units, a total of 528 bedrooms. We're on approximately 17.2 acres, of which approximately 16 and a half of it are vacant right now, and they've been vacant since, from what we can tell, forever. There are 2 houses that'll be part of it that have been historical rentals that we're going to take offline. But again, historical rentals, no displacement, and we're not making any further attempts to displace anybody. In fact, we're hoping for the opposite. Density of about 11.16 units per acre, which is not that far off from Varsity, which allows for 10 units per acre. We've incorporated just over an acre of additional land above and beyond the park for additional public use. That includes, we're calling it a ribbon park, multimodal trail that's going to have connectivity to other parcels around it that we feel like, or the city and staff felt like development might be coming, so they're kind of looking out over the horizon at making sure this will connect to future sites. There's a big emphasis on connectivity. We've got some bike storage that we're doing. We're really hoping to attract the university to bring their bike share out to us. I know there's plans in the works to potentially restripe Highway 93, and we feel like this is a practical location to ride your bike from. It's about 0.9 miles from the university. Not expecting people to hoof it 5 miles, but we feel like we've got a good location, feel like good things are happening at the old Bilo, and you've got the Planet Fitness, and feel like it fits in. We're pleased with our architect, the way we've laid it out to try to not make it as imposing, or if we are, we're keeping some of those things off the periphery. But that's all I got. I'm gonna let Jeff say a few words, and again, we appreciate you all taking time out to be here today and for your service to the city.
Good afternoon, and appreciate your time. So yeah, my name is Jeff Silkworth. So John and I are working on this together. So there are just a couple attributes. So, you ask why are we in here with a planned development versus what we may have been able to do just by right. There are some more beds, but it's not like we're doubling it. So it's approximately 50% more beds than we would have otherwise. And the reason behind that, because we considered both, was, this way, it's going to allow us to enhance the project. So we had a couple goals. One is, John has built a number of these projects around, and his goal is to make them look nice, that, they have good curb appeal, focus on some green space more than just more of a sprawling type neighborhood. So that allows us to do that in how we design the project. And frankly, financially, some of those things are costing money. So some of the things that we took into account, talking to the neighbors of the property directly there, around there, we spent a lot of time trying to reach out and speak with each of those individuals, talking with the staff in the city and trying to get a read on what was going on, as well as other stakeholders in the community. And it evolved over that. So I just want to highlight some of the things. So John talked about the bike sharing, and we're purposely building dry storage for bikes. We're anticipating with the e-bikes and that sort of thing, and being that close to campus, it's a pretty straight shot down Highway 93. So we're accommodating for that. One of the concerns of the neighbors was the traffic if you come out the back of the project and go down Hawthorne and around Fabrica. And to address that, we talked to the city, and they proposed we're going to include some traffic calming measures, probably the narrow lanes that will, encourage people to either go right through the project or at least come out the other side. And so that was that's an enhancement that we can accommodate through that. I will point out there's a lot more sidewalks that are off-site that we're willing, and that's in the plan, so you'll see that. So that helps us do that. A couple of the other big things that we're doing and helps by doing it with the PD is we're going to go above what even the R3 zoning or 3.5, which would maybe have been an alternative. So we're building, in some cases on Hawthorne there, we're putting a brick wall and then plantings above it to buffer that from the neighbors, and hopefully that helps with the noise. But in other areas, it's all, there's specific areas that we looked where the neighbors were, and then we're enhancing that buffering there, both for sight and noise. A key thing to us is we spent about 2 years working with the family that owns most of that property, about 15.5 acres. That goes back to a gentleman named Hobie Singleton, who had the property all around there, and he had a lot more than that 15 acres, and he sold it off where some of those family members are now. Initially, they've been approached a lot and weren't too excited about selling it because of the family legacy. And it sounds like their grandfather was quite a man. So we talked to them and asked them what they were trying to accomplish. We proposed the idea of this park, that if we did it as this, there would be a park there. And they, one of the ladies' name is Lignon. She's one of the 2 grandchildren that survives. The rest of the family are great-grandchildren. And she really liked that. And We told her that we would recommend that that park be named after her grandfather. We would really like that. That's part of our proposal, the Hobie Singleton Park. And she's, you know, they're on board with that. They have a family reunion every year that they hold in Clemson, and she said even in those years they didn't come to the property. She said with that, that would really make them feel good about a place that they could come and bring people and say, hey, that's the park. So that was really, to us, something that's important. And then probably the most important thing, because we had different proposals about how to also make this attractive for the city by asking for this zoning. We looked at a couple things, but I'll summarize by saying is what we came down to is making a meaningful contribution to the community fund, which I understand, you know, primarily has a focus of helping elderly citizens age in place. And so we came up, it's in there, it's roughly $1,000 per bed that we would donate to the city as part of that. By adding additional beds and doing it economically, it makes sense for us to do that. And that's really where we chose to put the dollars based on the feedback we had. So in summary, you know, John's got a history of building attractive products, you know, student housing projects. And, you know, we feel the demand in Clemson, you know, I don't need to go into that, but, you know, there's a demand, and as the university grows, there's going to be a need for that. We feel it's probably better that the city at least benefits from some of the tax dollars and the fees that go into it, rather than some of these projects that are going outside the city, and, you know, you're getting the impact but not any of the revenue from it. So in general, we think this is going to be a really nice addition to the city. It's taking a piece of property that may not have been developed, you know, and add it to the tax base, but also attractive and in an area that, you know, lends itself, I think, to the student housing. So we appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Questions, comments from City Council?
What's the tallest height of a building in this proposal? Stories?
4 stories. So they're called what you call a 4-3 split. So it's really a 3-story with a basement, if you will. But yep. And we've tried to locate the 4-story sides inward, or to the you know, inward on the south half or outward on the other half. So from the appearance of the street, it would look like a 3-story, which is in line with like a lot of the townhouses you'd see around town right now. Yeah.
Thank you.
You mentioned the brick wall. Is that the wall, or I can't tell, but is that the red line that appears to be there, say by Edith's property?
Yeah, by Edith and Brenda's property.
Okay, so that's kind of how that L-shaped kind of thing works its way back.
Yeah, it does. So and it's written very, at least what we feel like very clearly in the ordinance, the written ordinance that we passed along, that'll be a brick wall, and then the rear exit, I don't know if Andy, if you can scroll down, there's a rear exit, fire exit only onto Summey Street, that we enhanced that wall as well. Or I'm sorry, Fabric out there. Is that Fabric out there? That's not Fabric. Yeah, there's Fabric out there, my bad.
Yeah.
That there's a portion of each side of that, I think, maybe Jake will recall, I think it was 100 feet either direction, something like that. That was based on neighbor feedback, had requested what we're calling an enhanced buffer and screening zone, where it directly looks at longtime residents.
Question, so in the information, it talks about being marketed to students, young professionals, and graduate students, but I heard you all say this is student development. But my question is, so this is gonna be rented by bed and not, so young professionals and graduate students, will they truly be able to afford to live here?
Yeah, so in general, it's student in our existing project, because we have 2-bedroom units and 3. In this project, we're gonna have 1-bedroom units, so those would lend themselves to the group that you were referencing there. So, yeah, although it's primarily students, our experience has been, we've had even some of those 2 bedrooms where you have, you know, maybe a couple, or in some cases, just a single person who uses one for an office, one of the bedrooms, and then the other, they work out of it. You know, and there tend to be the people who are transitioning from being students, although not necessarily Clemson, and, you know, they like that environment still, but they're, you know, they're working their way up. So it's, I think even those ones, they're in their, you know, under 30, I would say.
And it's rent by bed?
Yes, it is.
John, how many, you had to guesstimate in your existing phases 1 and 2, what percent of them are non-student rentals, do you know?
We had that number for you. It was primarily the 2s were non-student rentals, and I think it was 30 to 40%. I can get that number for you, but it was more than we had thought. And, you know, like Jeff said, it's usually the smaller the unit, bed count that attracts the non-students. So again, with the amount of 1-bedroom and studios we're contemplating, you know, that would be, I think we were at about, and Alicia, so you know, at about 30% of our unit mix. So if we've got 150 units, our goal is to get to about 30% of those units to be 1-bedrooms, which does a couple of things that we talked about before. It you know, lowers the volume, if you will, and then 2, it'll attract non-students.
If you could follow up with those numbers of what your existing break
Yeah,
is, that'd be
I'll
great,
tell you
yeah.
tomorrow. We got it, yes.
Nathan just wrote it down too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then also, is the plan to have the different size units dispersed across the property? Or are you planning to have all of a similar size, like all the 3 bedrooms in 1 row to, does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, it does. I don't think we're committed to anything. It's like a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to get it in there. We're contemplating, you know, we haven't, to answer your question shortly, no. We're just where we can get the best unit mix, the best look, the best feel, to make the best product. I mean, we want it to be the best looking product as possible, so we're just continuing to fine tune it a little bit.
Hey, John, reduce that a little bit. I want to ask you a question about the 2 rentals you said are being displaced.
Yeah.
Andy's got it. If you're coming around on Hawthorne and you make the left, how the road kind of turns to the left, are those 2 houses that are right there?
Yeah, one of them's dead at the end of Newton Street, which goes parallel to the back end of the Bilo parking lot. So you know where the stoplight is at 93 in Newton? The stoplight goes over to like the old Gold's Gym, or it comes in.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a
that
great
ends
house.
directly into that intersection there, where we're gonna do a 4-way stop. And then where that clubhouse is above it, that's the other house. So that's 104 and 106 Summit. Those 2 houses will go away, create the entrance.
Okay, so, then it's not where I thought. Okay, that's fine.
And then part of that, we didn't touch on that, when the city engineer had requested, you see that dash circle, that is a dedicated easement we're giving to the city if they ever desire to put a traffic circle in there. So I think that's on the horizon, and that was one of the comments from the city engineer and staff to make sure our buildings were far enough out of that preferred radius for a roundabout.
Okay.
This is the entrance.
That's,
Yeah.
that's really kind of outside of Cadillac Heights, really, where you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's right, that clubhouse faces a courtyard by Marriott.
See, I know, I was just saying, it's
Yeah.
really kind of outside.
It's not up Lincoln, you know.
Now, when you think about gentrification, it's outside of Cadillac Heights.
It's not, we're not displacing anybody.
I know, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you are, I'm just
Okay.
making a comment
Yes.
that it's not truly in Cadillac Heights.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get.
And just to reiterate, they're both used as rentals right now.
I was,
We just want to confirm
Where's
on
the-
the wall, the brick wall, it's the dotted part on that backside, like you were saying, am I?
It's not going
It's
that whole
not-
property.
No, not the red line, it's the
No,
dotted
it's
red,
not.
yeah, it's the dotted red
I
line.
would defer to your zoning staff, who, I don't want to speak out of place here and put words in anybody's mouth, but it was planning commission strongly recommended we look at buffer zones.
Right.
These folks recommended some buffer zones. I don't want to say they're above and beyond, but we have listened to the neighbors and we have enhanced the areas where we feel like we've been. And the ordinance, I feel like we collectively worked very well together to make this ordinance so one of y'all could pick it up. If one of these guys leaves, that anybody should be able to pick up this ordinance, and it's clearly delineated in there, and we feel like, but again, I would encourage you to speak to staff or us if you need to walk through that ordinance, but we feel like we've really maybe more so than we've gone over the buffer zones in great detail.
So I won't speak for everybody else, but in the review, that was well defined on what the buffer zones are and what was done at Planning Commission. We appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. And thank your staff and your planning commission. Yeah.
Did I see a bus stop being installed?
We are installing a bus stop, furnishing and installing it at, in front of the Bojangles where the bus currently stops, as well as adding a 10-foot wide intermodal trail, you see it on the left side there, along from our site out to Highway 93 to connect to the bus stop.
Down Newton.
Down Newton Street, 10 feet wide.
And that's gonna go on, heading towards 93, that's going on the left side, so kinda on the corner, edge of the Bilo property.
Yeah. You saw the slip over on the other
Yep.
side, yeah. Thank these guys for that, we're not building a concrete
Yeah,
wall
no
all the
doubt.
way down. And then, again, that's not putting the cart ahead of the horse here, but that's helping to entice the university to bring their bike share off campus. Safety, liability, that you can ride down that 10-foot path and get to our site. So, again, the city did a great job of justifying asks like that. It's a 10-foot wide, 300-foot long. It's a lot of concrete, it's a lot. And, but when they say, hey, we've talked, we're going to do these things, we're trying to get cars off the road, it just made it easier to say, okay.
I'm glad to see you guys utilizing Newton as well as the main entrance. I think that's what we were all hoping for, since it's already and it's set up for you basically, so.
Yeah, we
Push as much as we can to the
And
signal
push it,
lights.
yeah, I'd say push it to the signal instead of out through the neighborhoods is ideal.
And we're restriping, it's all in the ordinance, not to get off track here, we're restriping at the city engineer's request, Canoy,
Yeah.
and may be required to do some enhanced signage there to prevent people from
Yeah.
turning left out of
I
there,
think
so.
that would be great.
Pushing people out,
Keep it away from the Fabrica
Trying to
in that
outsmart
neighborhood.
people
Drive it towards Newton.
The main, yeah.
Yeah, and have them come in and out of Newton, that puts them on the bike path, on the bus path, and a straight shot to the university.
Yeah.
And a stoplight,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Yes,
what's
safer,
Existing
safer,
stop.
yeah.
which is scary without.
Yeah.
Yes, it's much safer.
Okay.
Other comments or questions? I'm going to open it up to the public. So, okay. Comments from the public. And please, when you come up, please state your name, where you live. And Jeremiah has a sign-up sheet. Come see Jeremiah. Any comments? If not, there was one submitted, I'll read that, so it's on record. This comment was submitted by William Gear on 406 Skyview Drive. Let's see. I respectfully oppose the proposed Varsity Club 3 development for the following reasons. Density and occupancy at 29 occupants per acre and approximately 500 occupants. This development exceeds the character and scale of surrounding neighborhoods. This poses obvious legitimate concerns about overcrowding and the negative aspects associated with what is seen as campus overreach. This acreage, wooded, somewhat isolated from the many of the local residential areas, provide prime single-family housing development opportunities that would much better align with the basic stated objectives of the city's plan. Of course, within this rationale, it must be recognized that the developments phases 1 and 2, although they exist with much smaller density numbers, affect this and each following issue. Traffic impact. With over 500 beds and limited ingress and egress routes, the project risks significant traffic congestion along Summey, Hawthorne, William, and Newton streets, especially during Clemson University peak hours. Additionally, these routes will cause traffic issues at the main entrance, exit locations, Williams, Newton, and along Highway 93, which is now under significant strain. It should be noted that within that quarter-mile stretch, there is considerable traffic flow at the Skyview Drive intersection from which many residential areas must use to enter and exit Highway 93. Strain on infrastructure, local utilities and services, water, sewer, public safety may be inadequately prepared for the spike in long-term usage. Although the developer is responsible for initial expenses, the long-term maintenance expenses of high-density occupancy will be borne by city residents. Just this past week, the city has cited increases in the city's FY 2025-26 projected expenses such that the city must now impose higher fees to operate the municipal water system, undoubtedly as a result from the city's current growth of high-density student and multifamily numbers. Community character, the scale, the student population alters the quiet residential fabric of the area and will simply continue the progression towards ever more private development incentive for future high-density conversions, which have clearly become known as a major criticism from residents, adversely affected by decisions from past city planning staff, commissions, and council members. Again, that was from William Gear on 406 Skyview Drive. Other comments? Give it one more minute. And Jeremiah, you would have told us if there were any others, which thank you. Say something, I follow through.
Silent minute is a long minute.
I know, sorry. I said 1 minute. All right, well, the minute's up. We will close out this public hearing at this time, and we'll reconvene. It's a little after 5:25. We'll reconvene in 10 minutes and start our regular city council meeting. Thank you very much. All right. All right, welcome to our June 16, 2025 City Council meeting. We are starting exactly like we stated, that we could start right after or as soon as our public hearing ended, which we are. So we're gonna change a couple things around because we have some expected guests coming in a little bit later. So if you're looking at the agenda, there will be some deviations tonight. So with that said, I'll call this meeting to order. I hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day. I hope you got to spend quality family time, most importantly. So we'll start it off with invocation and pledge allegiance. Councilmember Smith.
Good evening. You're welcome to join me in prayer if you choose to. Oh, Heavenly Father, we gather this evening in service to our neighbors and to the well-being of our city. We come with a shared commitment to dialogue, to responsibility, and to the common good. Tonight, we especially lift our thoughts to the people of Minnesota, where violence has shaken the lives of public servants and the communities they represent. As a community, we are reminded of both the fragility and the strength of public service. May this council's work be guided by compassion, clarity, and the persistent belief that peaceful discourse is the foundation of a healthy democracy. Let this moment remind us that our roles here are to be decision makers and be caring. We want to be listeners. We want to protect and build a space where all people feel heard and considered. Let our decisions tonight and in the days ahead reflect the trust that has been placed in us by the public and contribute to a safer, fairer, and more inclusive community for all. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Like I said, we're deviating a little bit. So next is the possible approval from June 9th of 2025. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Second.
Any comments, discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next, we'll go into reports and discussion, staff reports. Andy.
I've got for you that we're closed Thursday for Juneteenth, a reminder. And of course, we're also closed on July 4th. And we're doing all of our CAM manager interviews this week and next week. So we're going to be wrapping up that process shortly. And on the AB is tomorrow night.
One thing to note, we were awarded from the Duke Energy Foundation a $10,000 grant for the HEROES program, which will be used to help fund a wood chipper for utilities and public works.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Andy, how many applicants are we interviewing?
4.
All right. Thank you very much. Next is policy action items. Remember, it's a 2-minute limit per speaker. First is, consider second reading of ordinance to adopt fiscal year 2026 operating budget. Leslie.
Thank you. Yes, we are coming to you to ask you to consider the second reading of the ordinance to adopt the FY26 operating budget. It is for 95 meals, includes 5 employees, and then the rate increases that we discussed for water, wastewater, and roll carts, and the sanitation fund. And there's no changes.
Comments, questions for Leslie? From the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the second reading of an ordinance to adopt the fiscal year 2026 operating budget.
Second?
Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you very much. Next is to consider the first reading of a notice of application for a state-issued certificate of franchise authority by Spectrum Southeast LLC. Andy.
No changes since it was presented. Basically, the only thing you guys get to do here is set the franchise fee amount. And we just set this at 5%, which is consistent with the others.
Questions, comments for Andy?
I have one question I should have asked you the other day. So is this the 5th provider in the community, or do you know?
I don't know how many total, but I mean, it should be easy enough to find out.
I know we got Vive, I know we got AT&T, I know we got that Country,
You got,
Upstate.
Country fiber.
okay,
Yeah.
Country Fiber. I just named one.
So that's 4 with this one.
that might drive down rates, you know, more competition.
Is that 4 that I just counted?
I think that's 4.
Can you let us know? That would be good.
Sure.
Just-
Yeah, I know there's 5, Upcountry Fiber, AT&T.
Vive.
There's another one that we're forgetting.
It's DirecTV, but that's AT&T.
No, that's not.
That's AT&T. There's
That's
one,
AT&T.
I think there's one other one, this odd name.
Dish Network, but that's
And I
it.
guess the other thing, they'll have to run their own fiber or own cable?
Yes, it just gives them the right to use the right of way to run their utility. Basically, just apply to the state for it, and then it gets granted there, and then they have to make you aware that they've been issued a permit.
Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the first reading of a notice of application for a state-issued certificate of franchise authority by Spectrum Southeast LLC.
Second.
And a tie. Jeremiah always picks. Any comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is consider first reading of amendment by Chapter 2, Section 44, Public Comment Ordinance to address the promotion of business-like activities. Councilmember Jones.
Same housekeeping we worked on a little bit last time. I believe this one is the same thing as last time. I don't think there were any changes to it.
Questions, comments? Public? Somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the first reading of the amendment to Chapter 2, Section 44C, public comment to address the promotion of business-like activities.
Second.
Okay. Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Thank you for your work. Consider a resolution for outlining the eligibility requirements, duties, and section process for creating the honorary position of a poet laureate. Laureate. I always have laureate. Thank
I
you.
don't get that word either.
So thank you, Homa. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Okay. And we have no Bree, so I think she's on vacation, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, good for her, absolutely. Questions or comments from what she presented the last city council meeting? Any other suggestions?
I think that last bullet point is a great addition. Just, we don't want them to think we're gonna review all their work, only what would be done in their official capacity with the city, so I'm glad we added that.
Yeah, and this seems to do a really good job of capturing what we talked about last time.
Agreed.
So, yeah, 3-year term, okay, $500.
All right,
So
comments?
question,
Yeah,
so
good.
now how will we go about finding the said person?
I would think it's
Open
an open
applications?
selection, it'd be an open selection process.
Similar to the boards and commissions?
That's exactly how I would.
Be it Jeremiah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Jeremiah, I'm like,
No, we can run it just like.
Yeah, you would just run it,
We'll solicit
yeah.
applications and then.
Okay.
So you solicit applications, council to review, council to vote and appoint.
correct.
Did we, I probably forgot, but I thought we were wanting a Clemson resident, but be involved with Pickens County. Did I misunderstand that? A Pickens County resident, they can live in Pickens or Liberty or Tweedledee and Tweedledum, but it would be the Clemson poet laureate.
I did understand it this way, walking away from the last meeting, but if you,
I'm asking, did I misunderstand that?
No, I guess I thought the ideal would be a Clemson resident. However, you know, you may struggle to find an applicant that lives in Clemson, and so thus you could default to the county. I guess that's kind of the impression I got.
Could we change that wording to say?
City resident preferred.
So, yes,
Yeah.
prefer, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, and then open it up for the Pickens County aspect.
Right.
Yes, I think, yeah, that way we'll,
A priority,
Yes,
something like that.
preferred.
yeah.
Preferred, okay.
And then the other question, so one of y'all just mentioned a second ago. So unlike the boards and commissions, we take the applicants and look at them, but we don't actually interview them. So in this case, somebody said a minute ago, we would interview this person. Is
No,
that-
I said review the application.
Just like we've done in the past, we'll
Okay.
review it and we'll come back out.
Okay.
Yeah, they would submit samples of work.
Okay.
Good questions. Questions for the public? Would somebody like to make a motion with that change then?
I make a motion to approve a resolution outlining eligibility requirements, duties, and selection for creating an honorary position of poet laureate with a change to the language to read for point 3, a city of Clemson resident preferred.
Second.
Comments, other comments, I should say? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to keep moving on other policy items. Consider an amendment to the Ethics and Code Conduct Statement for elected and appointed officials. Councilmember Jones again.
So this was another piece that we talked about last time, just tidying up a few things. This has been changed to represent the suggestions made about being in meeting. As long as it's all okay with everybody else.
That's the unless deliberating an agenda item during a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make it so that everybody is open to do whatever they want during a meeting, but outside of a meeting, it's,
Due process.
Same. Questions, comments? From the public? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the amendment to the Ethics and Code of Conduct Statement for elected and appointed officials for A5 and A12.
second.
Okay, comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you again. Next is considered authorizing the city administrator to enter a contract for the Riggs Drive Sideway project with Dillard Construction. I see Nathan, you slipped in. That's good. I mean, you knew we were starting right after the public hearing.
Hey, Nathan.
How's it going?
So we put out bids. We got 3 bids in. Dillard Construction came in as our low bidder. The recommendation is to award the base bid, which is all of the storm drainage, along with the sidewalk from College Avenue, starting at Strode, going up to Riggs Martin, and then also the bid alternate 1, which is the portion of sidewalk which continues up Martin Street to Wyatt. So effectively, this would put sidewalk and then correct a lot of the storm drainage starting at College Avenue, Strode, following that to Riggs, then going up Martin to Wyatt. So it also has some small improvements along Pool Lane that we've been addressing. One of the big things too is I know that storm drain on the corner of Riggs and Martin keeps on getting hit. We're actually changing that up kind of completely to where it makes the corner a little bit wider so large trucks can handle it. We've designed the sidewalk to be able to handle that load and then changed where the elements are and stuff like that. So all the funds associated with that. So for that, the total recommendation is the 443, 818, 47. And then we'd like to add a 10% contingency, which would still allow us to remain within budget for what we plan for the sidewalk project.
Questions or comments? Yeah.
All right, so this is, this will take the sidewalk up to Wyatt. Okay, and you decided already it's gonna be on which side of the road it's gonna go on?
Yes, sir.
The right-hand side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that will happen, you'll fix the corner there, which desperately needs to be fixed.
Yes, sir.
Now, is this separate, I'm reading from this, is this separate from what you were gonna do on Pool, or is that a separate conversation?
The pool culvert will be a separate project, but we are doing a small amount of storm drainage work. There's already a main trunk line for storm water that exists. There's just 2 inlets that we were already planning to tie into, and so we're just doing those 2 tie-ins and replacing a few small sections of pipe to be able to get the connections and make sure that we're keeping.
But that's part of what we're approving tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's included in the 443?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If approved, what's the time frame again?
We've not talked with the contractor yet, but the goal is to have it done before fall. And then we've awarded the paving already for this, so Pool, Martin, and rigs are in the paving, they're already awarded paving project. When we talk with our paving contractor, they're gonna hold off for as long as possible so that hopefully we'll be able to do this and then roll into paving very shortly afterwards.
Thank you. Other comments? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we move and authorize the city administrator to enter into a contract for Riggs Drive sidewalk project with Dillard Construction Group.
Second. And simultaneous. Jeremiah. Comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it. Let's see, Brian. We want to wait?
I can go ahead.
You wanna
There's
do
no
it?
changes since the last time.
All right. So I will defer if Ally wants to add anything. Consider a contractual agreement between Clemson University and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services fiscal year 26. And as Ally just said, no changes from the last time. Any questions or comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the agreement between Clemson University and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation fiscal year 26.
Second.
Okay.
I'm gonna be different in our-
Comments? Yeah, there are a few of these. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is consider a contractual agreement between the town of Central and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in 26. I won't always defer it to you, Ally, but if you want to chime in anytime, let us know.
Weren't there some changes made to this one because of they're going to a certain place and turn it around, but that area still is going to be served?
Yes, so the only difference is the hours in which so currently they go on the weekends. It won't be on the weekends now, and they'll be stopping an hour earlier, I believe. The stops will still be the same on the route. It's just the amount that it stops.
Okay,
Thanks for
that's
bringing
what
that
it
up.
is. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This is not completely related, but it was part of it. So the $18,000 that SWU owes us, so that's just going to be considered a loss?
Central's gonna cover that amount.
Well, Central's actually.
Remember they made the comment that they would make us whole.
Okay, good for them.
All right. Comments from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve a contractual agreement between the town of Central and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation fiscal year 26.
Second.
Comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is to consider a contractual agreement between the town of Pendleton and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in the fiscal year 26. Comments or discussion?
Those are the special ones, right?
So the town of Pendleton has one regular route, and then there's multiple.
Contracts, yeah, because the Fall Festival is up with Coppin Spring Jubilee. Okay.
Other comments? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve an agreement between the town of Pendleton and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation fiscal year 26.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. Next is consider a contractual agreement between High Point and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in fiscal year 26.
Where's High Point? Which one is it?
That's one on the right. You go across
The original.
The pier,
Ridge went out to
West Point Stevens.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's on the right,
There you
and
go.
the pier's on the left.
okay, thank you. Okay.
There you
I can't keep them on straight, sorry. Thank you.
Good question. Any other comments, questions, comments from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve an agreement between High Point and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in fiscal year 26.
Second.
Y'all like to do it simultaneously. All right, comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Next is consider a contractual agreement between the Pier Core SVA and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation service in fiscal year 26.
And you said these are right beside each other, right?
Actually across the road
That's
from each other.
Right and left, okay, thank you.
Comments, questions, comments from the public? Somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve a contractual agreement between the Pier Core SVA and the City of Clemson for campus transportation services in fiscal year 2026.
Second?
Second.
Already got a
I
second?
already did it.
You already did that.
And she's smiling about it. All right, comments? Comments, all in favor, raise your right hand. Are you voting?
Yeah, she was very quiet.
We have ADA listening devices in there.
I knew that was coming. I decided not to say that. Ooh, I knew that was coming. You kind of teed that up for you. All right.
She was, it was.
Consider a contractual, I'm keeping it straight here. All right, consider a contractual agreement between Central Clemson Rec Center and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in fiscal year '26. Comments, questions, comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve a contractual agreement between Central Clemson Recreation Center and the City of Clemson for cat bus transport in fiscal year '26.
Second.
Okay, comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Jeremiah, you did notice Windsor came in and started voting. Windsor, I didn't mean to call her out, so I think I just called her out. I apologize. Just making sure. Consider, the last one, consider a contractual agreement between Camp Clemson and the City of Clemson for cat bus transportation services in fiscal year '26.
No.
Comments, discussion?
Camp,
Yes.
where's Camp Clemson? Is it at the Central Clemson Rec Center? No.
It is at Clemson Elementary,
It's Clemson
correct?
Elementary.
But it transports to
But it
the
also.
Arts Center, the
Swimming.
Rec Center.
Swimming.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
It takes to
Okay.
a couple off-campus locations.
Go back to rec center.
Okay, understood, thank you.
Yep. All right. Other comments? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve a contractual agreement between Camp Clemson and the City of Clemson for cat bus transport in fiscal year '26.
Second.
Comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is mayor council reports, comments, new business. Yes, ma'am?
We talk a little bit about it every year, but the Red Hill Reunion Fun Day that I'd like to invite council out to if you want to come. But it's going to be actually Saturday, July 5th. They do have something on the 4th as well, July 4th. So they turned it into 2 days, but it's going to be at Dawson Park right here off of 76. Free food, live band. It's just a wonderful time for the community. So if you haven't been out to enjoy and meet the residents, the people who are coming back home, to just celebrate and be a part of that community, this is an opportunity to do that. So July 5th, and it starts on that Saturday at 2 p.m. and it goes until that evening, but they'll have music as well.
Thank you. Other reports, comments?
Got to do a public comment session too, right?
Oh, yeah, we're going back. We're not
I
gonna,
got a question for Nathan Hinkle. When is ABEL, all the work gonna be completed in ABEL?
We should probably substantially complete in 4 or 5 weeks. We're waiting on concrete at this point. Like, that's our limiting factor right now. And then the bus shelter was ordered 2 weeks ago, and they've not been able to nail down a time frame yet, so it'll be 6 to 8, they said 6 to 8 weeks. So when I mean substantially complete, you know, soil stabilized, backfill, side roof, walk boards, all the water lines installed and everything like that. We'll have a time period where the bus shelter pad will be poured, but the bus shelter won't be installed, just because there's a lead time for that item.
Will it be in place by fall, by school?
Absolutely.
Okay. The only other thing, I will miss the meeting of the 7th, and I'll miss the Red Hills. I'll be at West Point. I have 2 great nephews that are cadets there.
Wow, what congratulations.
4th of July. Looking forward to it.
Super cool campus up there.
it is. Been there once. It's phenomenal. Anyway. Hopefully you got the Clemson Community Care Impact Report. So I thought that was, it comes out, yearly, obviously. So if you get a chance, please review it. We do this almost every quarter, but shout out to everybody involved, especially Sarah for the community connection. I know it was a little delayed this time, But I know the email version, the online version got out within the last week and a half, but another great job, so thank you, thank you. And Andy already mentioned, on the Ave, I thought the turnout was the best I've seen all summer, or I should say spring, summer. It was awesome seeing the whole, I love seeing all ages out. That was phenomenal, so thanks for mentioning that. And everybody that's been involved, I know it's been a true city volunteer community effort to put that together, so thank you very much.
2 weeks left, right?
Two more
Tomorrow
times,
and next
correct,
Tuesday.
yep. Might be a little bit warmer, but that's okay. It gets a little cooler in the
Hope the
evening.
weather cooperates, because if you
That was
look at the
supposed to-
forecast, it doesn't look too
okay.
spooky for the
Thanks,
Don't
John.
jinx it.
Yeah, thanks, John. Other comments, reports, or new business? New business?
No.
Okay. Next. Okay, all right.
We can bring it this time.
Yeah.
We were talking about the process. Some of us have received inquiries regarding naming things in honor of people, either in memorial or in honor of, as they're building out more things, parks, facilities, and that sort of thing. And we have looked at if other communities have in place policies for that process. So the proposal is that we think about setting up a process in Clemson for the possible naming of facilities, locations, or other entities that are in the city. So we thought we might ask the staff to research other policies that are in place. Jeremiah's already found one great policy for us to look at and bring that back to consider to the council, to having an official policy in place.
So y'all good with next steps? And I'll just add that, as Windsor was saying, that, there've been a lot of great quality requests. We just want to make sure we're fair to all concerned and make sure it's appropriate. So coming back, whatever the best suggestions are and what you're seeing from other communities, that would be very helpful. Thank you. Any other comments, new business? Okay, we're going to go back to the beginning. And we're going to open it up for public session, and I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Sure. So a reminder, public session is for anybody to make comments about anything that is not on the agenda. As you noticed, we did open the floor when we reached those agenda items if you wanted to offer your input at that time. We have a 3-minute limit for speakers, and Jeremiah, did anybody sign up ahead of time? Nope. So I will open the floor to the public. The floor is yours. I don't see anybody moving. I did have some submitted via the My Civic app that need to be read, so I will go ahead with these. The first is from Mr. Robert Howell, and he reads, "Dear Planning Commission members and City Council, thank you again for your service and for thoughtfully considering the public feedback related to a PD at 398 College Avenue. At this point, I recognize that the development is likely to be approved, including the rezoning of single-family parcel currently zoned R20. Based on information shared with me by Mr. Woods, it appears the project is proceeding under the planned development zoning process, which, if adopted, functions as its own zoning. I understand that City Council holds the authority to approve the rezoning following a recommendation from the Planning Commission. While I initially questioned whether including a single-family R20 parcel in a PD was legally appropriate, it is now clear that under the way Clemson's current PD and zoning ordinances are written, this kind of inclusion is permissible and perhaps unavoidable if the procedural boxes are checked. Frankly, it appears that both the Planning Commission and City Council may have limited discretion to stop such rezonings, even when doing so would clearly conflict with the long-standing character of surrounding neighborhoods. That is frustrating and in my view signals a real weakness in our local land use policy, one that needs attention moving forward. Assuming this project does move ahead, I respectfully urge the city to take action in the following areas to mitigate its impacts and protect the integrity of the surrounding neighborhood. 1, traffic and diversion away from the neighborhood. Riggs and Strode were never intended to carry traffic from large-scale, high-density developments. 2, sidewalk connectivity and pedestrian safety. The current sidewalk plan for Riggs no longer reflects the intensity of this proposed development. A 9-story, 670-bed project will fundamentally alter pedestrian flow and safety needs.
3, protecting neighborhood context and character. Even if this project moves forward, the city still has the opportunity and responsibility to prevent long-term erosion of adjacent single-family neighborhoods. He has included detailed bullet points here. This was shared with all council members as well. We will put it on the official record. I just want to make sure I'm sticking to time limits. He said, thank you for your time and your leadership. Again, that's Mr. Howell from Pool Lane. The second comment comes from Susan Pass. She writes, do not vote for the 9-story apartment, dorms, townhouses complex. We have too much building already that is hurting what infrastructure that we do have. Not enough parking spaces will add too many problems to the already overbuilt College Ave. Third comment from Mr. Alan Grubb. He submitted 2 comments and they both note concern about the building project proposed for College Ave, Strode, and Riggs, although he didn't provide more details, but he's welcome to submit more comments. Next, we have Ms. Stephanie Platt, who writes in, good evening. I would like to ask a few questions. The first is, when should I expect an answer to my questions I submitted at the last council meeting? I received an email saying that they were received, but no response has been provided. I think I should receive some kind of response by now. My second question is, if the city is receiving millions of dollars in fees from student housing projects, why isn't some of that money being used to construct the sidewalk projects that are scheduled? I believe the sidewalk project for Mountain View Lane is scheduled for 2028. But if the city is receiving all these massive fees, why not do all the projects closer together? My third and final question is, why didn't the city of Clemson recognize Flag Day this past Saturday? I'm very disappointed in the city for not recognizing this. The flag that sits behind you all is a symbol of freedom for the people of this country and should be celebrated like everything else. I will make a note that Andy responded to Ms. Platt's questions posed last week today, so she does have that in her email, and I'd be happy to follow up to make sure that she got those answers. I have 2 more. One was submitted by, I'll apologize, I believe it's Ms. Eva Henry, is that correct? Okay. To the Planning Commission and City Council. I'm sorry I cannot be at the meeting on Tuesday, but I have to be away. I am sorry that, oh, I'm so sorry, this is in cursive and I haven't read cursive in a long time. I am sorry that the area you are planning a 7-story building in a residential area is even being considered. The area has been here a good number of years. It took you to change the looks from a small town to a big city if approved. I am one resident that does not want it there. And that's again, Miss Eva Henry. And the next is from Centero, Martha Centero. She writes, AT&T is digging numerous holes in front of my home and down the street. Without no warning, nothing notifying us of this, I had to cancel some work that was planned today and I didn't want any problems. Could you please advise AT&T to let the city know and or the homes being affected ahead of time as a courtesy and good PR, and keep after them until they cooperate. Thank you very much. And again, that's Miss Martha Centero on Brookwood Drive. I did want to point out to the public that new development at downtown has not been proposed to council at this point. We have not received any proposed plans for the property downtown as mentioned in these comments. But of course, we will be sure to keep these comments in mind should a proposal come to us for consideration. So I'll open the floor back up again for public comment in case anybody wants to speak.
Hi. My name is Allie Sloan. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Foundation of Greater Clemson. I come before you today mostly just to introduce myself as a community partner. A community foundation is here to assess the needs of a community and to meet those needs through philanthropic donations. I've met with some of you, I've reached out to some of you, and I just wanted to be a friendly face to say, we are here in the community, we are assessing needs, and we would love to be a partner with you guys. I would love to meet you in person. I would love to be here as a partner within the community, as would my ward. I'll be around. I'll be reaching out to some of you, and we are here to partner within the community for any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby. Would you mind signing in? I'm so sorry, I forgot
Yes,
to
I'm so
mention that.
sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, we'll close out public session. I'm gonna look to my left and my right. We have 2 more items on the agenda, and I know we're waiting on some of our guests. Should we take a quick break and then reconvene in 10 minutes? Is that I know this is something we don't normally do. No? I heard no, and I was like, what? All right, so we're just gonna take a 10-minute break, and we'll reconvene for great recognition and announcements to finish up our city council meeting for tonight. So we'll be back hopefully around 6:20, 6:25, I should say. Maybe it should be 10 or 15 minutes. So thank you very much. All right, we'll reconvene the city council meeting of June 16, 2025. For the ones that just arrived, we've already had our city council meeting, so it's all about our special recognition. And this is, we're honored to honor 2 teams tonight. So this is all about the 2 of you. And I look on one side, you got Daniel, track team, part of you are here, so we're still waiting on a few. And of course, the Clemson ladies softball team. So first we'll honor the Clemson ladies softball team. So we're excited to have you here. I'm gonna read a proclamation. Women's, I know women's, thank you. The Clemson women's.
There's no men's.
So I correct myself, thank you. The Clemson women's softball, thank you, Windsor, thank you.
Windsor.
No, you know, it hasn't even been a long night for me. So, all right, proclamation of recognition of achievement for the Clemson University softball ACC tournament and regional champions. Whereas the 2025 Clemson University Tigers softball program exhibited hard work, dedication, talent, and sportsmanship throughout the season, capturing the program's first, keep on saying that again, first ACC championship title in program history, as well as the regional title. Whereas the Tigers defeated Florida State 2-1 to secure the ACC championship on May 10th, 2025. Whereas seniors Abby, Maddie, Brooke were named to the ACC Championship All-Tournament team, and freshman Taylor was named Tournament MVP. Whereas the Tigers defeated USC Upstate, Northwestern, Kentucky, allowing only 3 runs to claim the regional title in the stadium and advance to the Super Regional round for the 3rd time. Again, 3rd time in program history in its only 5-year history. Whereas the Tigers defeated Texas in the first of 3 games, earning the program's first Super Regional win before their historic season coming to an end with Texas winning the next 2 games. Whereas even though they fell short of a spot in the Women's College World Series, the team still concluded the year with program records in nearly every offensive category, including games played, batting average, at-bats, runs, hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, total bases, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage, and defensive records in putouts, saves, and innings pitched. Whereas the team finished the season 48-14, with 45 of those wins in the final 53 games. Again, I'm going to say that again, 45 of those wins. So I believe, Coach, you were 500 right at the beginning for those first?
We were a little under 500.
A little under. I didn't mean to bring up a sore subject, but it is so impressive. It is so impressive. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfinger, Mayor of the City of Clemson, South Carolina, do hereby congratulate head coach John Rittman and his 2000 Clemson Women's Tigers softball team on their ACC championship title, regional championship win, and overall historic season. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Clemson to be affixed this 16th day of June 2025. Congratulations.
Would you like to say a few words?
I would, actually.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I love it.
I have 2 of our wonderful seniors here, and our sports administrator, our associate AD, Natalie Honan. And obviously, since we started this program, the university, everybody has just supported us in so many different ways. We sold out the stadium before we even played our first game, so that shows us the support of the community. But just players like Abby and Maddie who have poured their whole heart into building the softball program, both earning their degrees at Clemson, both moving on in life. Maddie's still looking for a job, so if anybody has Abby's going to be a GA at Arizona State University next year. But anyways, I was lucky enough to, Jay Bennett always tries to get me out to throw the first pitch out, so I know I saw some of you out there this year, and I told him earlier that we kind of turned the season around ever since I threw out that first pitch, so I'll be more than willing to do that. But I just appreciate the proclamation, and very proud of this team and all that they accomplished this year. So thank everybody. Appreciate it.
Tremendous accomplishments. And you're remiss in saying when you threw out that first pitch, y'all had a double header that day, and you're out there. And I was even saying, I think we were saying, are you supposed to be at the field, like, getting warmed up? I mean, so I was like, but.
Jay Bennett asked me to do something,
I see that.
I do it.
And you won both games, so there you go. So there you go.
I gotta add one thing, just think about that Texas game, because Texas wins the national championship.
They
Just
do.
think how close we were to doing that.
60 feet away. Yeah, I still wake up about 3 o'clock every morning.
John, nice job.
We had second and third, nobody out.
I was watching, trust me.
That close, so, yeah. And then in the last game, we had a couple opportunities
Yeah,
too. And
either way, but then you,
they just fought hard. If you watch the game.
oh yeah, absolutely. Stayed up late.
Yes, sir.
Are you okay to take a few pictures?
Well, I was gonna-
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was going to say, I truly appreciate you ladies supporting the guys' baseball team and then the guys helping, being there to support you all. And I know y'all have sat around me not knowing that. And man, I could have made that catch a lot better. Oh, look at him hitting the field. So I love it. I just love it. And I just appreciate that they support each other like that. And y'all keep the comments coming. So thank you.
Thanks for also beating South Carolina.
We usually have somebody that lines us up, so feel free to tell us where to stand or. Okay.
Great job. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let y'all stand in front of the tall people. We got a lot of tall people here.
Yeah,
The
congratulations.
height of this council gets taller every year.
Congratulations. And Arizona State, wonderful. Congratulations.
You're in front.
Okay, well,
We kind of have our.
I need to be in the back. Yeah, well, I'll get.
I'm short.
All right.
Back here.
There we go. Sweet.
Thanks. All right, wait a minute. Whoa. Pipe me.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it, Coach. What a season.
Thank you for coming.
We're here.
Appreciate it.
Are you excited about
Great season. You got it under control. You got it under control. Thank you. Appreciate it.
In August.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there for 2 years getting my degree in organizational leadership.
Oh,
I'm from California, so I'm going a little
oh,
bit.
your parents are, love that.
He's a bit character.
Good luck, ladies.
Yeah, y'all go ahead
I
and
can
speak
go
now.
get papers after the meeting if you'd like. That's what I'm saying, yeah. come on.
Well, like I was saying earlier, we have two recognitions, and this is another honor here for our state championship. 4x800 women's track team from Daniel High School. It's just phenomenal. I had to just make sure I got the exact, it was 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Is that correct, Coach? What a phenomenal time. State champions, 4A 2025. I know Ashby, and I believe, let me see, Ellen's not here, but Lily and Liza are here, so we're very thankful. And your many coaches, and you notice I said many because they are so instrumental. I know I'm a little biased on this. My son had some of these coaches, and they do a phenomenal job. And I know they spend a lot of time and energy, and they've been doing it for years. So thank you, coaches, for what y'all do to make a difference to all the athletes here. So first of all, we'll bring up Ashby. Or you want to? We'll do this kind of. Well, I mean Liza, sorry, and then Lily. So y'all ready to come on up? This is wow. So So Liza, in recognition of athletic excellence in the 4x800 event in South Carolina 4A state title on May 16, 2025. We're gonna take a picture too, I'm sorry, that's all about it. And Lily, in recognition of athletic excellence in the 4x800 event, South Carolina 4A state title on May 16, 2000. Congratulations, Bob. I gotta say something about the two of you, if that's okay. I've known Liza a long time through her parents' friendship, also known Lily through her dad and mom through school, and her dad working at the city, doing a phenomenal job as an urban land management director. He does a phenomenal job. So I'm sorry I had to call Tony out. And you have that scowl on your face right now. Now you see the smile. I'm sorry. And he's performing this weekend at Kite Hill. So look, I'm giving you PR, Tony. This is an awesome award. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And then the coaches, come on up if y'all want to say anything, coaches.
Yes, come on, coaches.
Come on.
All of them, come on.
Come on, come on.
Come on, Paul.
Paul, Dave, Jacob, come on. Any of y'all.
Talk about your people.
Oh, you have your, oh, let me see the medal. Oh, wow, nice.
You have to wear that. It's awesome.
Awesome medals.
They look happy.
Say anything?
Peer pressure, Paul. It is the second year in a row they won. They won last year as well.
Exactly.
They hadn't placed one member, but these two were, it's 2 years in a row for them. And I guess the team came within 3 points of winning the team championship.
Yep. So close, exactly. All right, here we go.
Thanks for being here.
Wait, they gotta come on in. We got a full group.
He can't talk anymore because he got a new job.
No, we can't. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll go behind you.
I got you. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Sweet. Sweet. Thank you. Now you're on Fox. You're on Fox. You know, there you go.
Maybe come back.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mom and Dad, do you want a picture?
So, how you doing, big time? Good to see you.
Mom and Dad? You already got it? You sure? Okay.
Appreciate it. You sound like you're doing really well up there.
That was on a trip back from George's office.
Oh, please, yeah. We're getting ready to end it, so it's all good unless.
Bail.
Yeah. This is your chance. Well, that was awesome. Appreciate them coming in, and I will. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week.